Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today is the final day of Bucket List-athon and I think I should probably tell you how it went. If you guys have been following along, you know that I have been hosting a month-long readathon this month with 10 prompts on hard mode and easy mode, and it was my goal to accomplish all of the hard mode prompts. And so I'm going to talk to you through the prompts that I have not updated you on yet. I have given 2 updates prior to this, and so I will link those in the description if you guys have not had a chance to get to those yet, because there's lots of amazing books on those videos as well. Before we get to the prompts and whether or not I accomplished my goal, I do want to introduce to you guys 4 new booktubers that I think you might like. I usually do 2 highlights, but I decided to do 4 since I missed my update last week. And in perusing the Booktube newbie tag, I definitely found some channels I think that you guys might be interested in. So please give them some love and go and subscribe, comment on their videos, show them what the Booktube community is all about. First, we have Witchy Reads, and she currently has 63 subscribers. Currently on her channel, she has some TBR videos, some haul videos. I also noticed that some of the titles to her videos are very creative. She has one about Bunny from Mona Awad that is titled, I think it's Hopping Mad. It was something along those lines. I should have written it down because I thought it was amusing. But so I really enjoyed some of the titles. I've not gotten to watch any more of Witchy Reads videos other than the Booktube newbie tag, but I definitely plan on it. The video I'm most excited to read on their channel is I'm done reading Grady Hendrix because I have the same thought. And so I want to know why she thinks that she's done with Grady Hendrix because I'm interested, I'm intrigued. She talked about how she likes to explore a variety of genres, but she did talk about how I believe in the past it has been fantasy or YA fantasy, I think, and then has since moved out of that and kind of expanded her horizons. And I think pronounced her like favorite genre is just fiction in general and wanting to dive in. She did say that she enjoys horror comedy and horror in general, which I am intrigued by because I recently read The September House, which isn't necessarily comedy, but it was like what I would classify quirky horror. And so yeah, I'm interested to see what Witchy Reads has in store. The next booktuber is Elsie Chanda, and she currently has 17 subscribers. She only has the 1 video, but I thought it was just so cozy and lovely that I wanted to share her channel and share this one video that she has because I think that her channel is going to be kind of a cozy, wholesome vibe, which I'm excited about. She has talked about how she doesn't know if she's going to be on Booktube or AuthorTube or a little mix of both. And so I also know one of the other booktubers that I highlighted, Jess, was kind of in that universe as well. And one of the things that I really appreciated about her Booktube newbie tag is that she talked about wanting to create a Booktube channel because she has found about her reading that she appreciates books more when she talks about them. So she learns more about the books as she's discussing them with people. I believe she talked about talking about the books that she's read with her mother and the fact that the books that she does get to discuss, she always ends up learning more about the book. And I appreciate that perspective because I think I have noticed that as well. The books that I have gotten to talk with either on here, on my Booktube channel, or in real life with other people, I do tend to they are more ingrained in me. I remember more things about them and I think I appreciate them a little bit more. So I don't know necessarily that I learn more, although I'm sure that I do. Whenever I talk about them, my brain is constantly going. But I definitely, it pushes them into my memory more when I get to talk about them. Elsie also commented on the fact that her genre is very blended and very vast in variety. Some of the books that she highlighted were The Book Thief, Cloud Cuckoo Land, Ordinary Monsters, Love Hypothesis. She talked about how the books that she tends to enjoy are books that could be considered classics, but they're not classics. So like modern classics, I guess. And yeah, so I just think her channel is going to be an amazing place to be whenever she creates more content, but you should definitely go and check out her Booktube newbie tag. I think you'll really enjoy her. The next booktuber is Tina Reads and Writes, who currently has 2 subscribers and currently has some videos on her channel about the mini brands. I have not gotten a chance to watch these videos yet, but I do plan on it. Mini brands picking her TBR. And I think it was specifically a mini brands that it revolved around books. Once again, I haven't watched the video yet, but I am intrigued because I didn't realize mini brands did a book series. I thought they just did like little groceries, or I know that they do like little toys and things like that. I didn't know that they had a book brand, and so I might have to check that out. But I really enjoyed Tina's Booktube newbie tag because of how genuine she was in the video. That it was very apparent when she's very honest, and I think that sometimes when doing the Booktube newbie tag, for several reasons, most people who are doing the Booktube newbie tag are very new to filming themselves. Also, a lot of times because of the fact that the Booktube newbie tag has prompts, people are very, I don't want to say like rigid in their answers, but very kind of closed off in their answers, or like direct line of sight answers. You don't really get to know a lot about the person. At least I think from a lot of the Booktube newbie tags that I've watched, and my own Booktube newbie tag, I'm not leaving myself out of that category, but some of what Tina talks about in her Booktube newbie tag is her life story and what's going on currently in her life. And I'll let you check out her video, and the fact that she is creating this Booktube channel to support herself in a time of life, and to seek happiness, and have something kind of her own, and to bring her love and passion back for reading. And I just really appreciated her story, and I just loved how she talked about books and her passion and why she is creating content now. Tina also reads some of my favorite genres, fantasy and sci-fi, so I am excited about that. She does talk on her channel that she is willing to read any genre as long as it is thought-provoking, and that it promotes feeling in her, and so I do not think that her channel will be closed off to the sci-fi and fantasy realm, but I was excited to hear some love for fantasy on her channel as well. The last booktuber for today is Books with Nate. Nate currently has 82 subscribers, and once again, sci-fi and fantasy are the main genres that he talked about. I am excited about Nate's channel because Nate has done several reviews on the Malazan series, and the Malazan series is something I have not gotten into. It's been something that I've been very nervous about because, one, it's a very large commitment. Two, I know Malazan fans tend to be a little aggressive about you loving the books, and so I've stayed away from it so far. And three, I know that from listening to people who either love or hate Malazan, there is the author, I think it's Eric Stevenson, does not handhold at all, which I enjoy, but I do think I need to pick it up at the right time where I can give enough mental capacity to the books to really dive into them. Nate is a self-proclaimed mood reader, and so you will see a variety of books and reads on his channel. Something I was also really excited to hear him say is that he is a prolific series reader. He gets himself into 5 or 6 series at a time, and apparently very large series. So I believe Malazan, he said he was on the 6th book, or he just finished the 6th book, and I can't remember how many books the Malazan series is. Is it 14? I know Wheel of Time is up there too, so I always get those two mixed up. But anyway, I know it's a very long series, and so I'm sure that some of the series that he gets into are very long. A couple that he mentioned that I have read, or at least read part of, is Mistborn, which Mistborn, if you count Era 1 and Era 2, is a pretty long series. And then the Sun Eater series is one that I'm currently getting into. I have not read all of it yet. I've only read the first 2, but I'm excited to dig into Nate's content and get some more recommendations. He does seem to read more sci-fi than I typically do, and I have kind of gotten off track in reading sci-fi in recent years, and so I would like to get back into that. So I'm excited to have Nate's channel now to pull some ideas from. Now on to the prompts. So I'm going to talk about a couple first. So the first one I will talk about is, actually I will move over so I can put the graphic here of the prompts that I have accomplished. So spoilers in like whether or not I accomplished my goals. but we'll go through each one that I accomplished this week. The darkest checkboxes are the ones from this week. The colors differentiated the week, so you guys can see that in the update videos that I will link in the description. So the darkest checkmarks, one of the first ones that I checked off this week was, or I guess it was the last one I checked off actually, is an author that I have disliked in the past. And this author was Adalyn Grace. I have read Belladonna by Adalyn Grace, and that was this year, and I believe Belladonna will probably be my worst book of the year. We'll see. I have to go through, there's a couple that are in the running, but it's up there. I did not enjoy the romance in this book. I do think Belladonna is YA, which could potentially be an issue. I've not had a great time with YA recently, and so I think that was part of it, but Belladonna has a romance between death and a very young character, and I liked the mystery in the book, but the romance gave me the ick. Not a fan. So I decided to pick up All the Stars and Teeth on the recommendation of Nala from Here There Be Stories, and I did enjoy it more. I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have liked to. I think that I will probably rate this a 3.5. I really enjoyed the magic system in this book. I think that the kingdom that is created is an island kingdom. I think they're islands, I'm pretty sure. I've gotten through the books, but for whatever reason that didn't stick with me. I'm pretty sure they're islands, and then each island has its own type of magic. And if you choose, so at a very young age, you get to, or you can essentially pull from a certain type of magic or commit yourself to a certain type of magic. Now, once you do that, you have to live on the island that focuses on that magic. And so this has like separated families and created some turmoil within the islands themselves. And we follow a character who is on the island where they have soul magic, which is very dangerous and does not have very many people that can do it. And the character is having at the very beginning of the book, she essentially is coming into her own right as heir of the kingdom, and she is getting tested to see whether or not she is an acceptable heir and will actually be able to rule the kingdom. And events commence. And I really did enjoy, like I said, the magic systems, but I think where I was lacking, and the reason I gave this a 3-star, is I really had trouble connecting with the characters, and there was some romance elements in the book that I could have dealt without, and there was some explanation at the end of the book about the romances that I wasn't super happy about, and I know that this is a series, and so I'm sure that that will continue to be developed in the next book or the next installment, but I'm not sure at this point in time if I'm going to continue. I would be interested to see kind of where the story goes, because the end of the book does kind of leave a little bit on a cliffhanger, and so I would like to see what the end, or how far the book goes. We'll see. I'm gonna look up. I don't know if it's a series or if it's a like trilogy or a duology. So if there's only one more book, I might dedicate more time to finishing the series, but at this point I'm not sure. So it's a 3.5 from me. Not a bad score, definitely an improvement from Belladonna. I think that I am not completely counting this author down and out. I think I'm just gonna have to be really picky with what books I pick up from Adalyn Grace in the future. Next, I'm gonna skip down to the very end of the list. On my next check mark for this week is meeting a yearly goal. So I discussed at the very beginning of Bucket List-athon that I was going to potentially try and read as many series as I've started. And I very quickly realized that that was not going to be a thing I could do in a month. And I did try. I have finished a couple of series this month that I'm excited about. However, a lot of the books that I have picked up this month I didn't realize were in series, and so that kind of canceled out the progress that I had made. But we talked in the update number 2 about the fact that I have had this goal of having an average page count for the books that I'm reading at 400. And when I started this month, it was at 395, I believe. And it is today, the last day of November, at 401. And so I am excited to say I have completed that yearly goal. Now, obviously, in the month of December, I am going to have to be a little bit careful to make sure that it doesn't go under 400. But one of the books that I did not finish this month that I did start is Labyrinth's Heart. And it's about 700 pages, and so that will definitely help me boost that 400-page goal. And I am going to be rereading some books in December that are quite hefty, and so I think that I can check this off and say that I definitely accomplished the goal of having an average page count of 400. So I'm excited about that. The last and final prompt that I had to complete was reading 5 Goodreads nominees. And unfortunately, I got to 4 of them, and I have completed a third of the 5th. So I'm almost done. I'm 2/3 of a book away from completing all 10 prompts in the month of November. But I just didn't want to rush through the last book, and so I'm going to call it quits. It is currently 7 o'clock on November 30th, and I know that I'm not going to be able to read 200 pages and by the time I go to bed. So that's why I decided to go ahead and film this and just say I did not accomplish my goal of beating all 10 prompts for Bucket List-athon, but I got close. And because of the fact that I could swap in some goals from the easy mode, I can swap in the fact that I did read a Goodreads Choice nominee, and so I did accomplish, I finished the Bucket List-athon. I just did not finish what I wanted, which I wanted all 10 prompts in hard mode, so I just had one pesky checkbox that I didn't get marked off, but I'm still really happy with my progress. So let me talk to you guys about the 3 books that I did read, or 2 books that I did read, and then the book that I'm currently reading and what ratings I gave them. So the first that I read for this was The Assistant to the Villain. I rated this 3 stars. It was just kind of okay for me. It was a very light read. Well, kind of. You follow a girl, I'm not going to remember their names, a girl and a villain. And the girl is kind of down on her luck, really needs a job to support her father who is sick and her sister. And she gets fired from her current job and runs into the villain on this kind of by chance moment and ends up getting hired as his assistant. And she goes through the book talking through like what it's like to work for him, and there is a larger plot, a larger kind of mystery going on as well. And you find out more about the villain and the kingdom as you're going through. It is very light in the sense of like there's some humor in it. There is some, like, I should say dark humor in it. But I feel like that almost distanced me from the characters a little bit. I normally like dark humor. And so I'm not saying that I absolutely can't have that in a book. But I just felt like I wasn't connecting to any of the characters, which I had a lot of problems with this month, apparently, from the last book that I just talked about, All the Stars and Teeth. But yeah, I just didn't care. Like, as I was finding out all these things that are happening in the book, and I never felt tension. There was never any real legitimate fear that I had for any of the characters, even though some pretty intense things did happen in the book. So I'm not sure if it was the writing style. I know the dialogue was very, I don't have the appropriate words to talk about the writing or the dialogue. It was very light and like almost bouncy. That's probably a terrible way to describe it, but it was not very in-depth, I'll say that. And so I had a hard time digging in and really caring about what was happening in the story. The second book is Inkblood Sister Scribe, and this book was about a girl and her half-sister who have since separated. They are not together at the time where you're reading about their storylines, and you do go back and forth between their 2 storylines. You have one of them who lives in a very isolated manner, and then another who is essentially living kind of in another isolated manner, but she moves around a lot. So she goes to a place, can live there for a year, and then she must leave and then go and live for another year somewhere else and then move around. And so it's very isolating for her as well, because she can't really get to know or have a home, put down roots, because she's constantly moving. And she's doing this to protect her family. which you find out about in the book as far as like why she's protecting her family and how those pieces fit together. And in the background of this, you also have this library system and this scribing system, these magical books that have a magic system that goes with them. You also have a third character, which is where you kind of learn about the magic system at the beginning of the book. And I found the library very interesting, the magic system surprisingly dark. This book did surprise me in that sense. I was expecting more light and fluffy, kind of like the assistant to the villain, and definitely this book goes places I did not expect it to. So I was pleasantly surprised with that. I did end up rating this 3 stars as well. Once again, I had trouble connecting to the characters. This book made me feel like I was floating above a scene and just watching things go down. Once again, I didn't really feel tension. There was some very dangerous things going on in this as well, and I just didn't care enough about the characters, I guess, to really be worried for them in any way. I feel like this book for me is going to be very forgettable. I read it a couple of days ago and I'm already kind of forgetting details and like the specifics of how like the plot came together. And so that is another reason I'm giving it a 3 star, because even like right after I was reading it, I was sitting there thinking about like everything that happened and how if I was happy with how the plot ended up. I do think the pacing of the book is very good. I think it's very quick paced and I was not bored during any of it. It was fine, but it's not a book that I will think back on. And the last book that I have to talk to you guys about for Bucket List-athon is one that I think I'm going to be able to call a new favorite, but I'm only 100 pages in, and that is The Hanging City. So this is the book that I have not finished for Bucket List-athon. So this is the book that is the reason I cannot count my 10 items off of the hard mode. I got to 100 pages out of 344, and I am enjoying this book so much. I did not want to rush through it in a couple of days, and I also, the last couple of days of the month have been very busy for me, and so I didn't really have a ton of time to sit down and read. I am reading this physically. So if you've not heard of this is one of the Goodreads choice words, which is why I picked it up for this prompt. It is in the romantasy category, which I don't know why yet. We'll see. But you follow a girl who is running from her father. Her name is Lark. And you know that there is a bad situation with her father, but you don't quite know why. And she decides to seek out this mythical city of the trolls. The prologue of this book is actually a bard talking about this mythical city where trolls live, and I freaking love bards. I don't know why, what it is about it. I love that trope. And so it started out like amazing in that sense, but anyway, Lark hears from this bard about this mythical city that has trolls in it, and she decides that is her last chance to get away from her father, and she's going to go and try and live with the trolls. Well, trolls do not like humans. Humans do not like trolls. And so she goes to this mythical city of trolls and gets taken in by them, and not easily, mind you. She has a magical power that she talks about in the book that you find out that she has kept hidden, and she also in living in this city of trolls. This city is underneath a gigantic bridge, and it's literally hanging underneath a bridge. And so part of what you see is the cultivation and the fundamentals of how this place functions. And like how would it be if a city was literally hanging from a place? How do they get food? Because they don't go above the bridge. How do they I think the food part was what boggled my mind the most. What about sunlight? What about the things that are in the canyon? Like, cause it's a bridge above a canyon. And so in this massive canyon, there are like creatures that live in this canyon, that have potential issues with the city. And then you also have the dynamics of the trolls in the city as well, and the caste system that the city has and that trolls have within their kingdom, and the differences between humans and trolls. I've absolutely loved this book so far. it's a 5-star for me in my head right now. I know I have 200 pages left, but I can't imagine it being anything lower than that. It's been absolutely phenomenal. And so I'm excited to continue this read. I will definitely finish it in December, but I did not finish it in the month of November, sadly. So that is it for Bucket List-athon. I hope that you guys had a good time with this. If you did accomplish either the easy mode or the hard mode or a mix, let me know in the comments down below. What was your favorite prompt? If you did participate, I would love to hear those comments as well. Remember, I will still be over on Instagram with the hashtag Bucket List-athon 2023, and I will be posting some of the books that I read throughout the month and the prompts on my stories, as well as using that hashtag so you guys can check those out as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.